Now, I know this is a sensitive topic, and it's one that can be hard to talk about. No one wants to see their mom, grandma, or any elderly woman in their life struggle with something that makes them feel self-conscious. Facial hair can make people feel like they've lost a part of their dignity, or that they're no longer in control of their own body. But here's the thing, what seems like a cosmetic issue might actually be something more. For many senior women, these changes are tied to things like hormone imbalances or the side effects of medication. And when we catch these issues early, we can do something about it. We can help them feel more confident, more comfortable in their own skin. And isn't that what we all want for the ones we love, especially as they grow older? To make their years as fulfilling and dignified as possible. This isn't just about facial hair. It's about ensuring their well-being, emotionally and physically. By the end of this video, you'll be armed with a clear understanding of 6 everyday habits that might be fueling that unwanted facial hair growth. And the best part? I'm going to show you simple, practical steps you can take to reduce it. So, stick around till the end, you'll leave with valuable, actionable knowledge that can make a real difference for your loved one. Before we dive deep into it, I'd love to hear from you. If you're here because you want to improve the care you provide for your elderly loved ones, drop a comment saying, "I'm here." Let me know what brought you to this video. And hey, if this video resonates with you, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to Seniors Care, because we've got so much more to share when it comes to caring for our elderly loved ones in the best ways possible. Let's get started. Imagine your grandmother, always the life of the party, vibrant and full of energy. She's been that way for as long as you can remember, always keeping up with the grandkids and staying active. But lately, something's different. You start noticing tiny, but noticeable changes. Maybe it's a bit of facial hair growing under her chin, something she never had before. At first, you might think it's nothing, or even brush it off. After all, she's aging, right? It's just another part of growing old. But when we dig deeper, this small change could be a sign of something much bigger. It could be related to hormonal shifts from menopause, a natural phase in a woman's life, but one that carries a few unexpected changes. See, as women age, especially around and after menopause, the body starts to lose its estrogen production, while testosterone levels can rise. This hormonal imbalance can lead to the growth of thicker, darker facial hair, something you may have never noticed before. And while this might seem like just another normal part of aging, it's actually a signal that something inside the body is shifting. Menopause may explain a lot of things: hot flashes, mood swings, and now, unfortunately, facial hair growth too. But here's the catch: it doesn't have to be something they just deal with. Many families make the mistake of thinking that this is just inevitable. They think, well, it's just part of getting older. But here's where they're missing the point. While it's true that menopause is a natural stage in life, it doesn't mean these changes should be ignored or accepted as is. This is something that can be managed with the right approach, starting with open conversations and professional help. A doctor can guide you through hormone therapy options or suggest natural remedies to balance those hormones and reduce the impact of this hair growth. And it's not just about medical treatments either. Simple lifestyle changes, like eating a balanced diet rich in vitamins, can also help manage these hormonal imbalances. For example, adding more antioxidants to your loved one's diet can help support healthy hormone levels. Foods like leafy greens, berries, and nuts are all great choices that can assist in maintaining a healthy balance. It's about supporting the body during this transition in a way that promotes overall well-being. So, the next time you notice something like this, don't just assume it's normal, address it with care, because it's possible to make a difference. But remember, hormonal imbalance isn't the only thing that can cause this issue, so let's talk about another contributing factor: medications. Hormonal imbalance might be at the root, but did you know that some medications can also play a huge role in facial hair growth? Let's take a closer look at how certain drugs might be affecting your loved one's body in ways you might not expect. Now, think about your loved one's daily routine. How many pills are they taking? Maybe it's a few for managing high blood pressure, or medications to control diabetes. You might even find that they take something for arthritis, or to help with sleep. And while medications are essential for managing chronic conditions, many of them come with side effects that can be overlooked. One of the most common side effects of some medications. You guessed it, unwanted facial hair growth. Medications like steroids, for example, can be one of the biggest culprits. Steroids are often prescribed for inflammation, joint pain, or even autoimmune diseases, but they can also disrupt the body's natural hormonal balance. The result? An increase in facial hair growth. It's not the only medication to blame either. Drugs prescribed for things like blood pressure, diabetes, and even depression can alter hormone levels or have a direct effect on hair growth. If your loved one is on any long-term medications, this could be something you'll want to bring up with their doctor. Now, some families assume that these medications are just part of life, and they don't think twice about side effects. But here's where it's important to be proactive. If you notice facial hair growth or other unexpected changes after a new medication is introduced, it's time to have a conversation with the healthcare provider. This could be a sign that a medication needs to be adjusted, or that an alternative might be available. Rather than ignoring the issue or just chalking it up to old age, ask the doctor about the possibility of switching to a different medication or reducing the dosage. There are often options that don't come with these unwanted side effects. And if a switch isn't possible, consider other ways to manage the hair growth, like gentle hair removal methods, without causing any harm to your loved one's skin. So, when it comes to medications, it's not just about what they're treating, it's also about understanding the side effects. That's why being an advocate for your loved one's health means checking in on these things regularly. Of course, it's not just about pills and hormones. Another factor that can contribute to this issue is something you might not immediately connect: stress. Let's take a look at how stress is silently affecting our health and could be playing a role in facial hair growth. Now, let's talk about something that affects so many of us, especially as we age: stress. Imagine caring for a senior loved one who's constantly worried about health concerns. Maybe it's something as simple as a doctor's appointment that's coming up, or perhaps it's the stress of managing multiple medications. Whatever it is, that underlying stress is always there, simmering just below the surface. And over time, as the stress builds, it starts to show in subtle, and not so subtle, ways. One of those ways might be unwanted facial hair. Now, you might be thinking, what does stress have to do with hair growth? Well, the answer lies in a hormone called cortisol. When we're stressed, our bodies produce cortisol to help us deal with that pressure. It's a natural, built-in response. But when stress becomes chronic, our cortisol levels stay elevated for long periods, and that's when things can start to get out of balance. High cortisol levels disrupt other hormones in the body, and in senior women, that imbalance can trigger the growth of facial hair, even in places where it wasn't there before. You see, this isn't just about feeling anxious or mentally exhausted. Stress affects us physically too. It's not something we often talk about when we think about stress, but the impact it has on appearance is real. The increased cortisol can stimulate androgen production, and these are the hormones that can cause hair to grow in places it shouldn't, like the upper lip or chin. It's one of those things that sneaks up on you, and you may not even realize it's happening until it's too late. One of the biggest misconceptions families have is that stress only causes things like anxiety or fatigue, but they don't realize the physical toll it can take, including on the skin and hair. This is why it's so important to watch out for stress and manage it effectively. Stress doesn't just leave us mentally drained, it can change how we look too. So, what can you do to help your loved one? Encourage them to engage in stress-reducing activities. Gentle yoga, breathing exercises, meditation, or even something as simple as going for a walk outside can make a huge difference in reducing stress levels. And remember, keeping stress in check doesn't just help with their mental well-being, it can also help prevent unwanted changes like facial hair growth. It's about helping them find ways to relax and take care of themselves, physically and emotionally. Stress plays a significant role, but let's not forget, nutrition is just as important. Poor nutrition can also have a huge impact on facial hair growth. Let's dive into how what we eat can directly affect this issue. Now, let's talk about something that often goes overlooked when we're thinking about health, the food we eat. We all know that eating a balanced diet is essential for overall health, but what does it really mean for someone in their later years? Especially when it comes to something like facial hair growth. It might sound a little surprising, but poor nutrition can be a significant factor here. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine your loved one, who might not have been eating as well as she used to. Maybe she doesn't have much of an appetite, or perhaps she's just not able to prepare balanced meals like she used to. Over time, a diet lacking in key nutrients can lead to hormonal imbalances. And when those hormones are out of whack, facial hair can start showing up where it never was before. Here's the science behind it: our bodies need a variety of nutrients to maintain healthy hormone production. If a senior woman's diet is lacking in important vitamins and minerals, like vitamin D, zinc, or B vitamins, it can affect how her body processes and produces hormones. A lack of these essential nutrients can contribute to increased androgen levels, the hormones responsible for unwanted hair growth. And the worst part? Sometimes, we don't even realize it's happening until the changes become noticeable. Now, many families make the mistake of thinking, it's just old age. She's not hungry anymore, and it's okay to eat less. But this is where we can be doing more. When someone's eating habits decline, it's not just about less food, it's about less of the nutrients their body really needs. The solution? Encourage your loved one to eat nutrient-dense meals, even if they're small. Try adding foods that are rich in vitamins and minerals, like leafy greens, eggs, and fatty fish. Even simple additions like nuts, seeds, and berries can make a big difference. These foods help balance hormones, improve overall health, and can even help reduce that unwanted facial hair growth. So, the next time you notice that your loved one isn't eating as well as they should, try to find ways to sneak in those healthy nutrients. It doesn't have to be a full meal. Just some small changes can make a world of difference in preventing these kinds of issues from happening. But it's not just about food. Another factor that's often overlooked is the role that genetics plays in facial hair growth. Let's explore how family history can be a key contributor to this condition. Think about Aunt Clara for a moment. She's always had a bit of a sweet tooth, and for the past few years, she's been living on a diet full of processed foods. Things like frozen dinners, sugary snacks, and simple carbs. It's easy to overlook these habits when life gets busy, but now, Aunt Clara's noticing something new. She's seeing more facial hair than she ever had before. You might think, could it really be her diet causing this? Well, let's dive into why poor nutrition could very well be a factor here. A diet high in processed foods and refined sugars doesn't just impact our waistlines, it can also wreak havoc on our hormones. When we feed our bodies foods that are low in essential nutrients and high in empty calories, it can lead to imbalances that show up in unexpected ways. The body becomes overloaded with sugars and unhealthy fats, and as a result, insulin and other hormones can get out of balance. This can lead to the overproduction of androgens, the hormones responsible for facial hair growth. But that's not all. Lack of essential nutrients, like zinc, vitamin D, and B vitamins, can also disrupt your body's ability to regulate hormones properly. Without these key nutrients, the body can struggle to keep hormonal production in check. And when those hormone levels are out of balance, you might start seeing changes like unwanted facial hair. Now, a lot of people assume that poor diet only affects things like weight or energy levels. But here's the thing, what you eat doesn't just show up on the scale. It shows up on your skin, your hair, and your overall health. Poor nutrition isn't just about the body's exterior, it affects the internal systems too, and when those systems get thrown off balance, the consequences can be unexpected. So what can you do to help Aunt Clara, or anyone you're caring for, manage this? The solution starts with a shift toward a more nutrient-dense diet. Encourage them to eat more whole foods, fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, and whole grains. These foods are rich in the vitamins and minerals that help maintain hormonal harmony and prevent things like unwanted facial hair growth. It's not about making drastic changes overnight. Small steps, like swapping a processed snack for a handful of almonds or adding a leafy green to a meal, can make a big difference. By helping your loved one focus on a well-balanced diet, you're not just managing their weight. You're giving them the nutritional support they need to keep their hormones in check, which could help reduce unwanted changes like this. It's all about restoring balance inside their body, one meal at a time. Now that we've talked about the power of food, let's look at another common factor that might be influencing facial hair growth: lack of physical activity. Let's explore how staying active can help manage these changes. Think about how much time Aunt Clara spends sitting these days. She used to love taking long walks around the neighborhood, chatting with neighbors, and staying active, but lately, that has slowed down. Maybe she's not as motivated to get moving, and you notice that she's spending more time on the couch than she used to. It's a common thing as we age, our energy levels decrease, and the will to stay active might fade. But what Aunt Clara might not realize is that not staying active could be contributing to more than just her energy levels. It could be playing a role in that unwanted facial hair growth. You see, physical activity isn't just about burning calories. It also has a major impact on hormone regulation. When we stay active, we stimulate blood flow, which helps to regulate hormone production and balance. Exercise can lower levels of stress, help maintain a healthy weight, and most importantly, it can help prevent the hormonal imbalances that lead to facial hair growth. When you're inactive, these systems don't get the support they need, and your body might start responding with unexpected changes, like facial hair. Another factor is that a lack of exercise can lead to an increase in body fat, and that excess fat can influence hormone levels, particularly testosterone. And we all know that increased testosterone in women, especially as they age, can contribute to facial hair growth. So, when Aunt Clara stops moving, she's not just losing energy. She's also increasing her risk for these hormonal changes. Many families make the mistake of assuming that a lack of physical activity is just part of getting older. But here's the thing, being active doesn't have to mean running marathons or going to the gym for hours a day. Even light activities, like stretching, walking, or gentle yoga, can make a huge difference in helping the body stay balanced. So, how do you help your loved one? Start with simple steps. Encourage them to take short walks, even if it's just around the block. Try adding a fun, low-impact activity to their daily routine, like dancing to their favorite music or doing stretches while watching TV. The goal isn't to push them too hard, it's to help them maintain some level of movement every day to keep their body functioning optimally. Not only will staying active help manage things like facial hair growth, but it will also improve their overall health. Better circulation, more energy, and even improved mood can all come from simply moving more. It's an easy and effective way to support their physical and emotional well-being. While staying active is crucial, there's another lifestyle factor we often overlook: sleep. Let's take a closer look at how poor sleep habits might be contributing to facial hair growth and other health issues. Let's think about your mom or grandmother for a second. Over the years, her skincare routine might have changed. Maybe she stopped using the right products. Perhaps she even got frustrated with what she thought was too much fuss over skincare. Now, you might notice something unusual: irritation, dry patches, or, what we're really concerned about here, unwanted facial hair. Does this sound familiar? As we age, our skin naturally becomes thinner and more sensitive. If we're not giving it the care it needs, it can start to react in unexpected ways. Harsh skincare products, like ones that contain strong chemicals or alcohol, can irritate the skin and disrupt its natural balance. This irritation can sometimes trigger the growth of hair in areas where it wasn't growing before. Additionally, neglecting proper moisturization can cause the skin to dry out, leading to an imbalance in the natural hair growth cycle. When our skin isn't properly cared for, it can't function as effectively, and that can contribute to unusual changes, like facial hair growth. On top of that, some products that are intended to exfoliate or strip away dead skin cells may accidentally strip too much, causing irritation or encouraging more hair to grow. This is especially true for older skin, which can be more delicate and susceptible to these issues. One of the biggest misconceptions is that families often assume using any product will do. They think, if it's marketed for older skin, it must be okay, but that's not always the case. Not all skincare products are created equal, and using something too harsh can worsen the problem. It's essential to choose products that are gentle, hydrating, and designed to meet the unique needs of aging skin. So, what's the solution here? Invest in skincare products that are rich in natural ingredients, like aloe vera, chamomile, or hyaluronic acid. These ingredients soothe the skin and provide much-needed moisture without irritation. A simple, regular skincare routine that includes gentle cleansing, moisturizing, and sunscreen protection can go a long way in preventing skin damage and, by extension, unnecessary hair growth. Remind your loved one to apply a mild, hydrating moisturizer daily, especially after washing their face. And never forget the sunscreen. Aging skin is even more vulnerable to the sun's harmful rays. By creating a skincare routine that's kind to the skin and targets hydration, you're not only improving their overall skin health, but you're also helping to keep unwanted hair growth at bay. Now that we've explored how improper skincare can contribute to unwanted hair growth, let's take a step back and reflect on the emotional side of caring for a loved one who's experiencing these changes. It's not always easy to navigate, but your support is more valuable than you might realize. Watching someone you care about go through changes, especially as they age, can be difficult. As their physical appearance shifts and unexpected things like facial hair growth happen, it can be hard to know how to respond. You might feel frustrated, sad, or even helpless at times. And the emotional impact of these changes on your loved one is real too. It can affect their self-esteem, their confidence, and their sense of dignity. They might be embarrassed to talk about it, or they might feel self-conscious, which can lead to withdrawal or reluctance to care for themselves. But here's the thing, these changes are part of aging, and with the right knowledge and care, they don't have to define your loved one's experience. When you understand what's going on and why these changes are happening, you can better support them, both physically and emotionally. It's about shifting from a place of fear and worry to one of compassion and proactive care. Instead of focusing on the negative aspects of these changes, think about what you can do to make them feel more comfortable in their own skin. A simple conversation about how you can help them find the right products or introduce small lifestyle changes can go a long way. If they're feeling self-conscious about their appearance, remind them that these changes don't define their worth. And make sure to reinforce the importance of small, positive changes, like adjusting their diet or skin care, that can lead to big improvements in how they feel. The emotional journey of caring for an aging loved one comes with its challenges, but the love, care, and knowledge you bring to the table can make a world of difference in their comfort and overall well-being. Just knowing that they have someone by their side who understands and supports them through these changes can reduce a lot of stress and anxiety. Remember, aging isn't just about losing something, it's about finding new ways to care for ourselves and our loved ones. Even when things seem difficult, your involvement and understanding can truly make their later years more fulfilling and dignified. Now that we've explored these 6 daily habits that could contribute to facial hair growth, let's take a moment to summarize what we've learned and discuss how we can take action together. Watching someone you love change in ways you can't control, it's heartbreaking, isn't it? You watch as they experience physical changes that you know are out of their hands, and at times, it can feel like there's nothing you can do to help. When these changes seem small, like the onset of facial hair growth in a senior woman, it's easy to dismiss them as just a part of getting older. But we know these little shifts can have a much bigger emotional impact than we might think. They can shake your loved one's confidence, leaving them feeling frustrated, embarrassed, or even isolated. I understand how hard it can be to watch a loved one go through this. It can feel like a loss of control over something that is so deeply personal to them. But remember, what feels like a tiny change can ripple into something much bigger emotionally. They might not express how much it bothers them, but trust me, it can affect how they see themselves and how they relate to the world around them. Now, I want to take a moment to reframe this entire situation. Yes, this might feel overwhelming, but you don't have to stay stuck in fear or helplessness. You have power now. Armed with this knowledge, you can face these challenges with love, patience, and a clear plan. These changes, they're part of the aging process, but with the right support, they can be managed. You're not helpless, and neither is your loved one. Together, you can make small changes to help reduce facial hair growth and address the underlying causes. Whether it's hormones, stress, diet, or skin care. What you're doing here is crucial, because your awareness and your proactive approach will lead to a better quality of life for both of you. So here's what I'm asking you to do today: don't wait for these issues to fester. Take action now. Check in with your loved one. Have an open conversation about what's going on, especially regarding these 6 habits. Start with the small, simple steps. Adjust their diet, explore hormone therapy options if needed, or even just make sure they're practicing proper skin care. These are simple but incredibly effective things that will make a world of difference. Now, I know you're probably feeling a little overwhelmed by all the information we've gone through today, but I want you to know that change doesn't need to be overwhelming. Even just one small change today can set the tone for a better tomorrow. Whether it's making sure they eat more nutrient-rich foods, encouraging them to take time for relaxation, or finding a gentle skincare routine that helps keep their skin healthy and happy, each step you take matters. And I want to leave you with this: even in the most difficult times, your care and attention can make all the difference. The way you show up for your loved one, the patience, the understanding, and the love you give them, will carry them through these changes with grace. Aging doesn't have to mean losing dignity, and it doesn't have to be filled with fear or shame. With your support, their golden years can still be filled with joy, peace, and dignity. You've got this, and they've got you. So remember, small actions now can lead to big results later. And you're not alone in this journey. Together, we can make sure that these changes don't overshadow the beauty of aging. So, take a deep breath, give your loved one a little extra love, and remember, you're doing an amazing job by being here today, learning how to provide the best care possible. Now, before we wrap up, let's take a moment to review what we've covered and think about the next steps in supporting your loved one's health and well-being. To recap, let's quickly revisit the 6 key habits we've talked about today. First, we've looked at hormonal imbalances that occur during menopause, which can lead to unwanted facial hair growth. Next, we touched on the impact of medication, how certain drugs can exacerbate the problem. Then, we explored the role of stress, which can raise cortisol levels and trigger unwanted hair growth. We also discussed how poor diet and nutrition can contribute to hormonal imbalances, and how a lack of physical activity can disrupt the body's balance. Finally, we examined the importance of proper skin care and how harsh products or neglecting moisturizing can irritate the skin and lead to hair growth in unwanted places. If any of these habits are present in your loved one's daily life, don't just brush them aside. They could be a significant part of the bigger picture. Now, I want to hear from you. Which of these habits have you noticed in your elderly loved one? Maybe it's something you've been seeing but didn't know how to address. Or perhaps you've already started making some changes and are seeing the benefits. Whatever your experience is, I'd love for you to share your thoughts in the comments below. This is a space where we can learn from each other and support one another in providing the best care for our loved ones. If this video helped you in any way, please consider subscribing to Seniors Care. Here, we're all about improving the quality of life for seniors, and by subscribing, you'll get more insights on elderly care, health tips, and everything you need to care for your loved ones in the best way possible. And if you found this video valuable, don't forget to give it a like. Your support helps more people find these tips, and it helps this community grow stronger. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, the journey of caring for an elderly loved one can feel overwhelming at times, but every small step you take counts. Stay strong, stay informed, and know that you're doing an amazing job. I'll see you in the next video. Take care, and take care of each other.